Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Joanna. So in today's tutorial, we are going to be making a long four-darted skirt. Now, this is popularly called four corners in Ghana. Let's get straight to the tutorial. So I'm going to be using 2 yards of African print fabric. I have a lining as well. I have a measuring tape, then a pair of scissors and a piece of chalk. Alright, now we are going to check out the measurement for the fabric, the African print fabric. Now, first of all, going to measure the length and then the breadth of the fabric. The length is 46.5 inches, and then the breadth is 36 inches. This is actually on fold. This is 2 yards of African print fabric. So a yard is 36. A yard is 36. So this is it. I'm just measuring to let you know how it is. So this is 36 by width or breadth, and then the length is 46.5. Okay, now I'm going to be teaching you guys how you're going to attach the lining to it. Now I'm going to fold the hem of the fabric. I'm going to fold the hem of the fabric up like this. Then I'll go ahead and measure. I'll go ahead and measure from the top to where the folded part is, to make sure we have the right length that we are using for the um, slit or the long skirt. Quick one, the measurement for this tutorial, the waist is 35, the hip is 41, and then the skirt length is 37. Now, the skirt length, as we said earlier, which is 37, before we can be able to attach the lining, I'm going to add 2.5 inches to the length to make it 39.5 inches. We use the half inch to join the lining at the top part. Then we use the 2 inches or the remaining inches to create a loop around the waist. Now the lining is going to start from the very self edge that is being folded upward like this. It's going to start here upward. So meaning we should be having 33.5 inches length of the lining, and then the breadth of it should be as the same as the 2 yards of fabric that we are using. Okay, so let me cut the lining and get back to the tutorial. So this is the lining. As I said earlier, make sure that this is exactly 2 yards, just as that of the African print fabric. In Ghana here, the linings that we use is somehow shorter than the real African print fabrics yards. All right. Now the length, as I said, the length is 33.5 inches, and then the breadth, just as I was saying, should be exactly um as the African print on fold. This is on fold. So measuring, I'm having 36 inches, just as that of the African print fabric. Okay, so we are going to be lining the slate now. Now to line it, I'm just going to open it up like this. So on the right side, facing one side of the lining, on the right side of the fabric, the Ankara fabric, facing one side of the lining, I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and using the self edge as a guide, I'm going to join this with 1/2 inch seam allowance, using the self edge, which is 1/2 inch. All right, so I just joined the down part of it like this. This is how it turned out. Now I'm going to pull the lining up like this. Then I'm going to be joining the sides. I'm going to be joining the sides. So after pulling, make sure that when you pull it up, it equalizes with the upper part of the Ankara fabric. Make sure they are in line, they are equal. Then I'll take to the sewing machine and join the first side with half of an inch seam allowance. Okay, let me do that and come back. All right, so that is done. I joined one side with half of an inch. Then I'm going to join the other side as well. I'm going to join the other side. To line the slit is very simple. So I'm going to take the other side also to the same machine and then join it with half of an inch. Okay, so this is how it also came out. This is how it came out. All right, so it's left with the top part. Now for the top part, I'm going to measure about 6 inches at one end. I'm going to measure about 6 inches like this at one end. Then I'll take, yeah, now the 6 inches, you're going to use that to turn the fabric to the right side. Now I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and then join the top parts like this all the way to where we marked the 6 inches. We stop at where the 6 inches is. Okay, let's take it to the sewing machine. Let me take it to the sewing machine actually and come back. Okay guys, so this is where we are. I just took the same machine to join the side, leaving the 6 inches gap. So you're going to use that gap to turn this to the right side of the fabric. Now, after turning to the right side, I'm just going to use a pencil to pass through the 6 inches gap like this. Then I'm going to pull out the edges in the fabric. All the three edges. I'll carefully use the pencil to push it out. Okay, so after turning to the right side, I'm just going to close the gap. So I'll push in, I'll fold in the ½ inch that we used in joining the fabric like this. Then I'm going to take it to the same machine, then top stitch it to join and close the gap. Okay guys, so the gap has also been closed. This is how it turned out. So I'll go ahead and give this a quick iron. I'm just going to iron this quickly and then we move forward. So now that we are done with the ironing, we are going to start with the dart. Now, this is four darted long skirts or four corners slits, as we say it in Ghana. What I'm going to do next is fold this equally into two halves like this. I'm going to fold it into two equal halves like this. Then I'm going to use my iron and then iron it as you can see me doing, especially at the folded side of the fabric, just like this. Make sure you iron it to create a line in the center of this lined fabric. Make sure you press it down this side, the folded side here. Make sure you iron it properly to create a line at the center of the fabric. Okay, so now that I've flat ironed it, I'm just going to open it up. I'll open it up and then you realize that we have lines created like this. So this is what we are going to be using for the dots. This line is what we are going to be using for the dots. Okay, so I'm going to fold up the first dot like this. Then I'm just going to flat iron it again. The second dot is in the middle of the other half of the fabric. So I just place the first half gently at one side. Make sure you don't iron in a way that will close the first the other line ironed in the other side of the fabric. I hope I'm making sense though. Okay, so after this, I'm just going to go in 2 inches. I hope you can see with the pencil that I'm using. I went in 2 inches like this. Then for the length for the that I'm just going to go down 22 inches. 22 inches. That is somehow below the knee. 22 inches. I'll mark 22 inches. Then at the very end of the slit or the long skirt, at the very end, I'm just going to go in 3/4 of an inch or 0.75 inches. Now, I'll go in 2 inches like I was doing earlier. Then I'm just going to go ahead and then connect the point together, the 2 inches that is marked. That is the that. I'm just going to connect them together. Now, as I said earlier, I'm going to mark 0.75 inch at the hem. The pencil is not helping, so I'll use a chalk to mark that. Then I'm going to um connect below the knee through that, like so. I'm using the chalk at the fabric part to make it clear for you guys. Make sure that side is not edgy. Make sure it is curvy. So when it is edgy, make sure you use your pencil or whatever chalk that you're using to make it clear. Okay, so I'll go ahead and then pin this down. This is our first start. I'll go ahead and then pin it down. Okay, so I've, after I've achieved this, I'm going to work on the other side of the fabric that we have. So the other line, the second line in the middle or the center of it. So that is it. I folded it back, and I'm going to create that for that as well. Now before I do it, I'm just going to give it a price before I continue to mark the dots. Now, just as we did for the other side, I'll go in 2 inches, 2 inches. Then for the length, I'm going to come down from the waistline. I'm going to come down 22 inches. Like I said, that is somehow below the knee. Then I'll mark the 2 inches again. Then I'll go to the hem of the slits. Then I'm going to mark 0.75 inch using a chalk. Then I'm going to connect the point together like this. And now from below the knee, I'm just going to connect it to the hem of the skirt or the slit. Now I'll use the chalk to make the part where it's on the on the Ankara fabric to be clear. So that is it. I'll go ahead and then pin this as well. I hope this is understandable because this is very simple. This is normally called four corners in Ghana. There is no cutting. We don't cut this into pieces. You line it, then you create your dots, and that gives you your four dotted slit. So I'm just going to take this to the sewing machine and then stitch it down. So that is the first and then the other side of the dot. So I'm just going to take the sewing machine to stitch down the dots. Okay guys, so this is how it came out after joining or the stitching the dots. Now I'm just going to shape this out. The two that has been made. So the shaping at the sides of this creates the other two dots, making it four. That is why this is called four corners in Ghana. Alright, so I'm just um ironing this to make it a bit clear. So, um, the most important measurement that we are using for this is the hip measurement. Is the hip measurement. Now, for the hip we are using for this tutorial is 41 inches. Now, I'm going to divide that by 2. Remember, this is on fold, so I will divide it by 2, and that gives me 20.5 inches. All right. Before then, let's take our vertical measurement. Now, I'm going to measure from my waist, from the waist to the um, above knee. So I'm going to first of all mark 16 inches, and then I'll go down 3 inches, making it 19 inches. This is going to help to shape this out above the knee. Okay, I'm repeating those measurements on the other side as well. I'll go down from the waistline 16 inches and then 19 inches. Okay, so after this, just as we divided the hip circumference by 2, giving us 20.5 inches, um, I'll place my measuring tape across the fabric like this. Then I'm going to place my hand on where the 20.5 inches ends. So this is it. Now I'm going to count the remainder. So counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know whether I counted that right, but then whatever remainder that you have, divided by 2, and then share it on both sides. So assuming I had 10 inches, I divided that by 2, giving me 5 inches. So I'll mark 5 inches on both sides of the slit. Okay, so I'm going to, it's because of the position of the camera, that's why I'm turning this upside and then downwards and all of that. I'm sorry about that. Now, after marking the 5 inches on both sides, I'm going to um connect those 5 inches up to where the 16 inches that we marked down is. I'm going to connect those points to the 16 inches that we marked. I'll join that on both sides of the slit. So after you've joined that to where the 16 inches is, on the 19 inches length, I'm going to add half inch to the measurement that we have, like this, like the 5 inches. I'm going to add half inch to it, making 5.5, and then mark that. Then I'm going to slant or connect this to the 19. I hope I'm making sense here, like this. Then at the very hem um of the slit, I'm going to go in 1.5 inches like this. Then I'm going to connect it from where the 19 inches point is, like this. I hope this is clear. So it's going to give it a shape like this, like a should I say a fish? Yeah, a fish like shape. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So the remainder that we had, I'm going to mark it up to where the 16 inches is, the 16 inches that is above the knee. Then I'm going to connect the point together. As you can see me doing, I'm connecting the point together. Then on the 19 points, I'll add half inch, and then I'll come in from the side, um the 5 inch plus half, making 5.5 like this. Then I'll slant it. I'll connect from the 16 point, I'll slant it to the 19, and then I'll come in from the side at the hem 1.5 inches like this. Then I'm going to connect from the 19th point to it like this. I hope this makes sense. This is very simple, guys. Please try and work this, practice this, and let me know in the comment section. That's basically it. This is how we make our slates called four corners. So that is done. Make sure at that part where I just clean, make sure it is not edgy. Make it a bit curvy like this. Then I'm going to take this to the same machine. After pinning, I'll take it to the same machine to join both sides. So now I'm taking it to the sewing machine to join the sides together. Okay guys, so this is how it turned out after taking the sewing machine to stitch it down. I've turned it to the right side of it. I'm sorry I lost the camera stopped recording at where I was turning it to the right side. So this basically it after turning it to the right side. I'm just ironing it a bit. So we're almost done. On the waistline, we just have to create the loop. Remember, we added some extra inches. That's 2 inches extra to it to create the loop. Before then, I have a strap here. I'm going to make it into a tape like this. So look at how I'm folding it. It's about 1.5 inch like so. So I'm just going to fold both sides half inch in like this, and I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, fold it in like this, and then stitch it all the way to the other end. Now the tape depends on how long you want it. Just make sure it is much more than your waist circumference. So that's how it came out. So I'm just going to show you on the sewing machine how I'm going to place the tape inside the loop you're creating on the waistline of the slit. Let's get to the sewing machine and do that real quick. Now, before we get to the sewing machine, I'm just going to mark out I'm just going to mark out 1.5 inch on both sides of one side of the slit to create a gap for where we'll be pulling out the tape or the strap from. So this is it. The strap will be inside like this. Then I'm going to be stitching it down. Let's get to the sewing machine part. So this is how you are going to be placing the tape or the strap inside the loop around the waist. So look at how I'm folding it, and that's the gap that we marked. So with a chalk, as you can see, I'm going to start from one side of the gap like this. So I'm first of all going to double stitch, then I'm going to stitch it all around the waist. Make sure you don't stitch through the tape. So as you are stitching, make sure you push in the tape inside the loop. Then you stitch at the very end of the fabric. Now you stitch and then stop at where the other gap is like this. You double stitch and then you cut out the excess of the thread. So you're basically done with the slit. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more tutorials. Subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment if you enjoyed watching this tutorial. I love you guys, and please keep being amazing wherever you are. Stay blessed. Bye.